Hello, travelers. I am Paul, and this is Travels with PMB. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you are returning, welcome back to my channel. What do I focus on with this channel? I focus on all things travel, whether it be a cruise, all inclusive resorts, restaurant reviews, concerts, and so much more. Also, I am a travel advisor. And so if you are looking for that dream vacation, make sure you check me out by emailing bookwithpmb@gmail.com. So we are getting ready to start the live, and it starts in Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Thank you for coming through to another Monday. I hope your Monday was great and your week was even greater. I am so excited about this topic tonight. I just ended my series dealing with the Norwegian Fjords and Sky Princess, and currently I am doing another series with Brilliant Lady, the new ship from Virgin Voyages. And so to wrap up the series that I just finished with Sky Princess and the Norwegian Fjords, and that was a cruise I went on with my sister. I have a special guest tonight, and I will bring her up shortly. But before we do that, let us see who's in the chat, and then we're going to go from there. So, TJ, thank you for coming through, TJ. TJ was the first one. He beat everybody here. Thank you, TJ, for coming through. I appreciate it. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, YOLO, my special guest. Shay, happy Monday. How are you doing, Shay? Carnival Cruise Addicts is here. Liz, yes. You were not the first one today. What's going on, Liz? Uh-huh. Happy Monday. Let's see who else is here. Kristen. Thank you for coming through. Happy Monday. And then we have Danny. Happy Monday, Danny. Thank you for coming through tonight. The one and only Zach from Coker Culture. Just watched this video that he premiered at 5:30. Happy Monday, Zach. Thank you for coming through. Let's see who else. We're saying hi to each other. Hey, Raquel is here. MH Family Adventures. Happy Monday. I see that you had a blast in Greece. I'm glad that you made it back safely, listening and driving. Happy Monday. Chris is here. Happy Monday, Chris. Let's see who is here. BX Journeys. I met them on Brilliant Lady last week, Thursday. Happy Monday. They are here. Happy Monday. Thank you for coming through. And we're saying hi to each other. Chris, you're saying hi to your wife. Don't you live in the same house? Um, but that's good. I am caught up with the chat so far, and so I am going to bring up my special guest. I'm excited about this topic. Norwegian Fjords is not somewhere where it's the most popular necessarily place like the Caribbean or even maybe Alaska that people would like to go to. But it was a bucket list item for me. And when I told my sister about it, she really wanted to go with me, probably out of her element as well. But at the same time, I just thought that it was glad that she went because she enjoyed it as much as I did. And so I am going to bring up, hey, Legacia, happy Monday. Thank you for coming through. I'm gonna bring up YOLO from YOLO. YOLO, how you doing? Are
Hi,
you
how
on
are
mute?
you?
You're off
Happy
mute, right?
Monday. Happy
On the
Monday.
go
How is
with YOLO.
everybody? Can you guys hear me?
So yeah, we hear you. So I'm excited to have you here. Now, before we even go further, because we're not only going to talk about the Norwegian fjords itself and the places we visited, we're going to talk about the whole experience. Because I feel like the whole experience matters before we even get on the ship. And so just tell us about your channel. Those who may not be familiar with your channel, and a lot of us know you're ready, but those who may not be familiar with your channel, just let us know what your channel is about on the go with YOLO.
Hi, my name is Yolanda, and my channel is On the Go with YOLO, and I am YOLO. That's my nickname. My channel is about travel, all things travel, land based, city based, staycations, cruising, land based, everything. U.S., Europe, just to name a few places I've been. It's just travel. So anything related to travel, I'm trying to get to a point where we're doing travel tips and tricks and things that you can do, but just showing you how easy it is for us to get out and go travel and see the world, because it is. So I travel with my family and I travel solo. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing. And her channel, she has places I've been to, but there's places I've never been to. And I look at it and it's like one day. And it's good that I can follow somebody who's been to some of these places. So I know, like, okay, what did YOLO do? So that when I go to those places, she kind of already mapped it out. She did things that look so interesting and great to do. So then I could just follow suit and book something similar, add on to it. So it's good to be able to have somebody who has been to these places. Hey, Bill is here. Happy Monday, Bill. Thank you for coming
hey,
through. So let's get to it. So I have some
yeah,
questions. We have to do a little bit of homework. I had to go back to some of my own videos. Some of the video, I can't even pronounce some of the excursions anymore. I heard some of the excursions and the pronunciation of this stuff is like I don't know how I pronounced it in the moment, and I just
yep,
can't even
same.
pronounce it going fast. It was crazy. So I'm not going to pronounce it when we go for it, but let's talk about the pre-cruise experience. So,
Okay.
where did you cruise from? And then I'll talk about where I cruise from, and then we're going to go. So, where did you cruise from for your Norwegian Fjords cruise?
I cruised out of Southampton, UK. So flew into London and then took a bus to Southampton.
So, you took a bus from Central London to Southampton.
Yes. Yes.
And where did you
I did.
stay at? And where did you
Staying
stay
in
when you
London,
was
we stayed at the um, Park Plaza Waterloo,
Ooh,
which is
nice
like
hotel.
near, yeah, it's like near, it's on the end where Borough Market is, in the Southwark area. So, yep. Train
So,
station was right
telling
across the way, so easy to get to. I didn't mind it at all. There was a little pub down on the corner. I could go down there real quick, get a beer, and go back to the room.
so let me tell you, for those who've never been to London, if you're going to be in Central London, it is not a 20-minute ride from the hotel, whether you go from Gatwick or from Heathrow. So
Mm,
expect maybe as much as a hour ride on the train or leaving from picking up your bags and trying to get to Central London to stay in that area. So it is not a quick ride. There are options such as Uber or any ride share services. There is the train as an option, and they also have buses that will go to Central London. And so these are some of your options. Of course, then the rideshare cab would be the most expensive. And so I try to do either the bus or to train to
yep.
kind of like save some money. And then, so what I did the same thing. And my cruise left out of Southampton, and I did a stay at Rio Plaza in central London. And so I took a train that time to the hotel, and I stayed at that hotel. And then I was able to just get around from that hotel. Did you do anything when you were in London?
Yes. This we were in London for 4 days prior to the cruise.
Wow, great.
So this was Dylan's first. It was a mother daughter trip. So this was Dylan's first time in London. So we did all touristy over again. My husband and I had done prior to going. So we did pretty much all the tourist things. We did the Tower of London. We did the Natural
Mhm.
History Museum for her. We did Westminster Abbey. Um, hop on, hop off. With that included a bus boat ride on the Thames. We did a lot, and we did a walk tour. We did a lot in those 4 days that we were there. Our feet hurt every day. We were there. Yeah, we did a
And so
lot.
I stayed only one day, and I
Mm.
stayed only one day, so I went to the National Gallery. So every time I go somewhere, if I've tried to do something different. So I did the National Gallery, my sister and I. Beautiful, huge, art museum. And then we went around, and it was just so much art. And I love the Picassos and stuff. I love that impressionist kind of painting. So I just made sure I went to that area, and I enjoyed myself. And so therefore, I decided the next day was cruise day. And so instead of just, probably getting a ride to the port, I decided to do a tour to the port. Did you do any tours going to the port, or you just kind of just took
No,
the bus to the port? You just
no,
took the bus to
we
the
took
port, right?
yep, we did national transportation, the shuttle bus, charter bus, and we just
Okay.
went straight there because
Yeah.
again, we were so tired. I wanted to go to Stonehenge or something else, but we just didn't have enough time in the 4 days with all the other things that we had planned and were doing. So it's so much to see and do. You cannot do it in just a couple of days.
So the thing is that I saw this tour from Paradise. Does everybody know Paradise? And so they did a cruise. It wasn't the it wasn't the Norwegian Fjords. They did a cruise that with Ireland and Wales and that kind of a cruise. And so they did a bus, International Friends, to Stonehenge, and then after Stonehenge, they took it to the port and they dropped them off the port. So I love, if you watch my channel for any length of time, I love UNESCO heritage sites. So I said
Me
I
too.
had to take advantage of it. So they picked us up from the hotel. We went to Stonehenge, and then they dropped us off at the port. It was so, and I showed all of that on my embarkation day video. It was
Yep.
so great to go there. It was just a breath of fresh air. I just love the experience of Stonehenge. And I think that going forward, that would be something really good to do, to kind of like just, instead of just going to the port, especially if you haven't been somewhere before, try to do like a tour before, especially if it could drop you off. And at the same time, then you know that you're getting to the port on time, and then you get to do something before you get to the port. I think it's like a great situation. So even though I stayed one day in England, in central London, I was able to do two things within the 2 days
Yeah.
because I used the time of the actual day of going on to the cruise ship. And so this is some of the things that we love to do, to be able to experience it. So the vacation does not only start with the cruise, it starts even before the cruise.
Yeah.
And so that was the pre-cruise experience. Let's talk about the cruise. So you went on Anthem of the Seas. I
I
went on
did.
Sky Princess. What did you think about Anthem of the Seas? What was the experience like? Did they kind of like ingrain you in the experience? Like, how did they make the experience of Norwegian Fjords better? How was the food? How was the entertainment? Did you just kind of, was it just kind of a place where you just was like exhausted from all the excursions and just you just wanted to crash, or you got to kind of really engage yourself in the ship?
So Royal doesn't really do an immersive thing. So
Okay.
yeah, no, they don't do that. So
Okay.
you get on now. This was my second quantum class ship next to Odyssey. I did Odyssey first, and then Anthem was my second quantum class ship. I love the ship. It is in really good condition for her age. So I did enjoy the ship herself, but there were no immersive activities other than them, maybe having a couple of uh, meetings in the theater telling you what to expect at the ports and things you can do at the port. But other than that, there were no immersive activities. There may have been a few food items. Like I think the first night we had like a pie, but it was more like a chicken pie instead of a beef pie. So some things were like in the dining room were slightly different. When you were on this
Okay.
particular cruising, like they had maybe more fish options, things like that,
Mm.
more your UK cuisine. But outside of that, no immersive activities. Here, I hear Princess will have like the dogs come on for Alaska and things like that. Now Royal don't do
Yeah.
none of that.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
But you liked the ship though. It was a nice ship and the
I
food and the
did enjoy
entertainment
the
was good.
ship. I did. I like quantum class ships. So far, she's my still my second. Quantum class is still third. She need a little love. But Anthem was pretty good. The people on board were great. The crew was really nice. A lot of Europeans, a lot of English people, but a lot of U.S. travelers as well.
So I was on Sky Princess, and Sky Princess, it just happened to be because I went at the end of May, it just happened to be that there was a holiday that I didn't know about. And so there were more kids than I was used to. It wasn't like they weren't rude and running around and nothing of that nature. But it was just like Norwegian Fjords, like I mean, more kids than I was used to. And so, but the ship was beautiful. I love that class of princess ship. It's called the Royal class. Sky
Yeah.
Princess is a part of it. I've been on Enchanted. I've been on Discovery. I just love that class of the princess ship, and I enjoyed the food, the entertainment. It was just like so. This experience in general was just such a good experience on the ship, and therefore, when it came to my room, I decided to get a balcony. Did you get a balcony?
Mhm.
You got a
I
balcony.
did.
I remember you
I
getting a
did.
balcony.
Yes, I had
So
a balcony.
initially, I didn't have a balcony. I had got upgraded to a balcony, so I was surprised and
Very
shocked
nice.
when I got on the ship, and I'm
Yeah.
so glad I did get upgraded because it just made the experience even so much better to be able to just open up the window and see these beautiful views that I was seeing. How did they immerse us in the experience? One thing that Princess does, and some people may feel like it's boring, but it's so good to be able to get you charged up for what is to come. So they will do like these seminars. They probably have another name for it, but they'll do like these seminars, and with these seminars, they will have one for every port, and each
Oh,
one for every port, they will explain in detail what you need to see, like what's must sees. They'll explain like, okay, if you want to do it on your own, how far it is to walk from the port to this specific area. They'll let you know about certain excursions. They'll let you know about the people. They'll let you know about the food. They'll let you know like, or maybe think some things that you should try and eat while you are in that particular port. And they'll do that for every port. And if you miss it in the theater, then they'll have it on the TV so that you can watch it for a replay. And so I think that that's kind of good because then if you're unfamiliar, we know about some of these ports just kind of like, okay, you may do a little research, but having somebody who's like an expert in the area kind of talk to you about the port, this kind of like makes you know what you can expect, even though once you get there, it's just like, whoa, like it's
yeah.
beyond
Yeah,
what
I
you
think
what.
Royal did do that in the theaters. Like they would like tell you what's going on, what to expect, like about information about the port itself. More to me, it was more like selling, like
Okay.
going out and experiencing the port, or they were talking about shore excursions, but not necessarily like the things that were in the area at port and what you could do outside of the port. So yeah.
So, so let's get to the cruise itself. So I got these questions. So she went on certain things. We only went on one that was like the same. So she went to Bergen, and you went to Flam. And did you go? Did I miss something? I know Olden. We both went together. Did I miss a
Yeah.
port?
Well, it wasn't a Norwegian port. It was a Belgian port. We went to Bruges.
Okay, okay. So
Mhm.
tell us about your experience. What was the thing that you loved about Bergen? What was the thing you loved about Flam? And then I'll go, and then we could talk about Olden afterwards.
Okay, so I have some notes. I did my
Oh
homework.
yeah, me too. I have mine because it was a
So
lot.
for Yeah, so for Bergen, the thing that blew me away the most was going up a vernacular. I had never gone up a vernacular, and it's like a little cable car, rail car that takes you up the side of the mountain. And the
Hmm.
views when you got to the top were absolutely jaw dropping. I can't speak. They were amazing, and it's just you can
Yeah.
oversee everything. The cruise ships down there, and you just see mountains, and then the whole port and everything. It was just beautiful up there. Also the troll that they mimic in at the Epcot food and wine. There's not food and wine at Epcot, drinking around the world or whatever. That experience, that troll is there. So I got to see him and take a
Uh-huh.
picture with him. But there's also all other things to do. There's hiking trails up there. There's a restaurant up there, places to shop. It's just beautiful, and it's all on the top
Hmm.
of this mountain. Floyen is how I think you pronounce it. But that was the highlight of Bergen. After we did that, we just came back down. We walked around for a bit in the city. We went to one of the markets, which was interesting to see like what they had for vegetables and meats and fish. I mean, tons and tons of fish, and even the dried fish, you would just see it everywhere. Living the Viking way, I guess. And then we had lunch, which I typically like to do. And the food was good. The seafood stew, or I would call it a chowder or a stew, that was good. And then I had a beer. So it was very nice experience. But the going up the vernacular for the first time was the highlight. I mean, it was really cool to do. You don't feel like you're like hanging
Okay,
in
that's
the
good.
air. It's like going straight up the mountain along the side. So it was really nice.
With those beautiful views while you're going up.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
It was, yeah,
What
yeah,
about
because it's
Flam?
open. Yeah, yeah. For
What about
Flom,
Flam?
yes, for Flom, I did a tour. So I got off the ship, and there's a local area, or there's a, I guess, a office center or whatever. You can go in and you can actually purchase tours. I wanted to do the railway, but they ran out, or it sold out before I could go. So, or before I could book it. So I didn't do. So I got off. I booked a tour. It took me to a neighboring town, and
Hmm.
then it took me up on top of the mountain, and then to the Stagadan. Um, the route going up, if you're prone to motion sickness, that winding going up and down that hill was, whew. At one point I thought we were going to run into a car or another van, because the road was so narrow, and literally you have to pull off to the side, and the curves are so steep, and it just takes you up. But once you're up there, the views are amazing, and we're literally walking around on snow-capped mountains. It was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, love it.
And then, yeah, and then the drive back down was to Pakistan, which is like a cliff, and there's a little a barrier stand where you can actually walk out to the very edge. It's a glass barrier in the very front, and you can look down into the it's called the Allensfjord. It's like
Uh-huh.
fjord, and it's like a whole valleyway going one way all the way to the other. It kind of forks a bit, and it is breathtaking. So yeah, that was my favorite thing. Well, my only thing I did. That was my birthday day, so that was like the best birthday ever. And then my other stop was Bruges, and then we were in Olden. Olden was really amazing. You went to Olden as well, but we did two different things in Olden. In Olden, I went to the Brixell Glacier. I did book that through the
Mm.
ship. No, I didn't
Oh,
book
that
that through
sounds
the ship. We got off the ship, and there's a little center down there where you could book it. Because I wanted to get the troll cars, because when you go to the Brixell Glacier, you have to
yeah.
walk. It's a trail, and it's a
Yeah.
mile and a half each way, a little
I
over a mile
remember
and a
that.
half.
I remember
So
you
you're
walking
like
a
2.5
while. Yeah.
miles in when you're walking. So it's the whole trip is round trip walking, and it's uphill. It's steep.
Okay.
Well, in some
Yeah.
areas. So you're going uphill for over a mile and a half, and then you have to come back down. But once you're there, it's like there's a water faucet, the Clavafossen is there, and it's like trickling down the whole area, the whole hill that you're walking. It's beautiful.
Okay.
And then when you get there, it's like you're right there to the glacier, and then there's a glacial lake. It's just beautiful, amazing.
Oh, that's yes.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to be if you don't have if you have mobile issues, you really can't do that. That sounds like a lot.
They have the troll cars, but then you have to be able to get into the cars because they step up high. We know because Dylan
Yeah.
fell going on the way back down, so the car had
Oh
to come and
Lord.
pick us up. Yeah, so it's hard to step up on it, but once you're on it, you're fine. That walk is not a walk in the park. I mean, it's steep, and you're gonna feel it going up. And yeah, you can't. And if you're on a tour, it's like they only give you so much time to go up and come back down. So you're trying to get there. And it's like people coming down along the way and they're walking past you and they're like, you're almost there. You can do it. They're like cheering you on. It's funny, but it's a walk. So if you're able to, if you're doing a Norway cruise and this is one of your stops and you're wanting to do the brick sale, it's definitely worth it. Get the troll car. It's worth going up, but get the
Yes.
troll car. If you're not willing to walk. So yeah. But yeah,
So
amazing.
if you have any questions for us, if you have any questions for us, let us know in the comments so we can answer your questions. Also, Yolanda did a full movie. So even though she's explaining it, when you see what she is talking about, it's next level stuff. And then
Yeah.
also I did a playlist as well for it. I think I put it in the comments, and then I'll put her movie in the details of this as well. And so that you can go back and look at it so you can see the beauty of some of these places. And even though we were there, like it was just like you can't put it in a like you have to sometimes
Oh,
be there. Like we try to capture it as much as we can with camera and even with the best cameras and pictures. And then when you're
doesn't
there
do
in
it
the moment, it
justice.
was
Oh, it doesn't do it justice.
amazing.
Now the waterfall that's behind you on this picture that we're looking at behind us was in August for you. I love that. And it's
Yes.
like this, it's like on the street. And I'm like, man, I need to do that.
Yes.
I can't wait to go back. I want to do Newport when I go back, but yes. I'm like, oh my God, that was so cool. And the way you were just walking around and able to walk up and out on those rocks was amazing. I like that. I enjoyed that.
I'm gonna talk about that right now. Who came in? Scotty came in. Hey, Scotty.
Hey
Scotty
Scott.
came in. Let's see who else came in. Okay, so Hagesan. So when I put that video out there, everybody was like, "Oh, that waterfall." And the waterfall was majestic. It was big. It was a little bit of light rain, um, but it didn't matter. I was there for the waterfall was so great. And then there's an underpass that you can go onto the other side and capture it from across the road. And so, but like you can really get up right on it, and I did, and capture it like looking up, and it's right there, and then you can see it from the other
Amazing.
side of the road. It was like so great. And so with that, when I went to Hagasong, it was a couple of things that happened. It was a great tour because not only did we get to see the town that was right there at the port, we was able to go and do some historical sites at the port itself, and then we went further out, and some of these tours are not short. If you really want to capture these places, when you go on Norwegian Fjords, I know you can do the hop on, hop off. I know hop on and hop off. It will be maybe the cheapest option for you, but you're missing so much if you only do that. Because if you only do the hop on, hop off, you're only going to be in the town. That waterfall was not in the town, it was far away. We drove for a while and we saw that waterfall and we saw just some beautiful sceneries, and then we were able to go to some of the historic sites first, and then we ended it off by going to a marketplace and be able to get some things and some souvenirs and things of that nature from Hagason. And then we got back to the tour. One of the things, though, I would say that I wish I did different, and it's because I didn't want to get up early. That was one of my things. I did not want to get up early for I was on vacation.
All
I
my
did not
tours
feel
are
like getting up
early. Yes.
early, but I would recommend because some of the places, I'm not sure all, some of them, the same tour bus that took the people out in the morning is the same tour bus that took the people out in the afternoon. And so therefore, like one time I went to one of the places and I had to wait a little bit for the tour bus. And then more than one time I felt like after the tour I was rushing back to the ship. Obviously because if you book with the cruise ship, they promise they'll wait on you. But I felt like at least twice I was rushing back to the cruise ship because of that. So I would have just probably did an earlier ship. And not every town has things really that you can buy things. And it's like for example, I think it was Shoalden. There was really not much right there in the town where you could say, "Oh, let me get souvenirs and things of that nature." But there are some
Mhm.
towns where, like, they may have some souvenirs, and then you can go and
Yeah.
you could buy certain things. And so I think that was for that place,
Yeah.
that waterfall. I love nature, something like that, just coming upon it and just seeing how great it was, strong, mighty it was. And it was just like, I know people kept commenting that waterfalls. It was just, and to see it in person, it
Amazing.
was just like so great. So the next
Yeah.
one was Shoalden. And so um, I did something with a mountain pass. And so this tour took me high up in the mountains. And what was great about this place was to see the difference. Like we were on the ground and it was nice. It was green. Can't remember. It was probably raining a little bit, so it was probably overcast, but it was just green, right? And they
Mhm.
took us high up into this mountain, and all of a sudden, high up into this mountain, it was snowing, and
Wow.
so it was snowing in the mountains, and with the mountains being like the way it is, it was just like. And then there was a cabin we went to, and in this cabin, I was just taking pictures and everything around, and we went up into this cabin, and into this cabin they served us a waffle with some jam, some white cream, and they also served us coffee. Delicious. And because I went to one of these seminars, the woman said on the ship that you have to try caramel cheese. And so
Mm.
it almost looked like yellow cheese, but it was just a little tint of brown, and that was delicious. So that's why. Even though like some people are like, I ain't going to no seminars, you're missing out on, because
Yeah.
these are experts talking
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
about it. It's
I
just not like
agree.
somebody that's on the cruise ship. They're bringing on experts that know about these areas to really talk about the places that you're going to. And so
Yep.
therefore it was just beautiful. And then we came down, and then after we came down, I thought that was it. And then they took us to a place where we saw some waterfalls, not as majestic as Hagason, but then just to be able to see, like, okay, we went to the difference. We went to the mountaintop and saw the snow. Then we came down and we saw the waterfalls, and then we went back to the ship. Then Olden was just simple sightseeing. They just took us around Olden, and so your what you did in Olden seemed way more interesting than what I did. So Olden,
Yeah.
I went
And we,
around and they took us to this beautiful views, and we were able to see the mountains and the hills and the fjords and things of that nature. But just still beautiful. And every time, if you looked at my videos, every time on my videos, you were able to see the I just had to take a video of what I was seeing in that moment.
yeah.
And so I went outside and I was like, this is what my view is. And I was just like,
Yeah.
to me, I'm like, I was like, can you imagine living in some of those places and you just walk out and just like, this is my view. And this, like, that was the thing that came to my mind. The view was just like ridiculous to be able to like live in that. I'd probably be bored out of my mind after a while, but the view in the moment was just so beautiful. And then
Yeah.
Stavanger was my last place I did. And I love Stavanger because, and some of these now, I didn't always do, and so I know we have this, so I didn't always do an excursion with the cruise ship. So, like for example, Stavanger was not with the cruise ship.
Right.
Sometimes it was based upon price. Um, I wanted something a little bit less expensive than the cruise ship was offering,
Yep.
but at the same time, I'm not a person necessarily, and I know unless I would do a hop on hop off, but I'm not necessarily a person that would would just kind of wing it and just say, oh, let me see what I get at the port. if I see something that I really want to do. Because God forbid I get off the ship and it's something I really want to do and I wanted to do it, and then they say, "Oh, it's sold out." I'll be so disappointed. So I'd rather
Yeah.
book the excursion in advance. And I can't remember which ones I did with Viator and which one I did, because I did Viator, and which ones I did with the cruise ship. But I know there was some I did with Viator, and others I did with the cruise ship. And so for those times that I did the later tour, for me to be running back to the ship, I'm kind of glad I did it with the ship.
Yeah.
Um, I'm kind of glad I did it with the ship. And so Stavanger was a beautiful town. That was one of the towns that it had really so much character. And this one, I heard, so this is the point I was trying to make about the hop on, hop off. I heard somebody say when it came to, I heard somebody say, "Oh, like we went somewhere and we did the hop on, hop off, and we didn't get a chance to see the fjords because you did the hop on, hop off. It's just going to show you the town. It's not going to show. It's not going to." And I overheard them saying this. I was like, "Yes, because it's a hop on, hop off. You're going to actually just see the town. You're not going
Yeah.
beyond the town. It's not, you know." And so when I heard that this particular one, yes, I walked around the town and I showed everybody what the town looked like. Quaint, had a lot of restaurants. It had hotels. So out of all of them, that was the place that, you know what, if I wanted to come back, I don't know how far it's from the airport. If I wanted to come back to Norway, that would be a place like I would want to stay, because it has so much character between the hotels. It had the restaurants. And then that was where I took a boat and saw all these beautiful rock
Right.
formations,
Yeah.
caves, waterfalls, the
Beautiful.
hills, the mountains. It was just it. I think that was my favorite. Like out of all of them, it was Hagasan second because that waterfall was ridiculous. But for everything in all, in terms of the town and like the tour that I
Yeah.
took, I think that that was my favorite place that I did. And so I'm so glad that I did the excursions that I did, because, and they varied in price. Some of them were not cheap, but I start once I get close to booking and finalizing my cruise, then it's like, okay, it's time to look for excursions. What do I want to do? What sounds really interesting? What is a must do? You know, this is time to do research. You're going so far. I think you
Yeah.
should do some research. And say like, what is something that like is a must see when you go to some of these places? What's something that's really sounds good? So what was your favorite port? Was it
My
Flam? What was your favorite?
um yes. Yes. Guam was my favorite. That was my birthday cruise. So that was definitely my favorite port. I did enjoy Olden. And I think Olden actually offered a cruise similar to the one you did, where
Uh-huh.
you can take a vessel down through the fjords to see them a little better because the cruise ships can't go. But yeah, I would say Flam was my favorite. I definitely want to go back because I want to do the railway. You get some really spectacular views from what I've noticed or what I've heard taking the railway. So definitely want to go back. But I also want to visit some other places that are a little further up north. I could actually see doing a tour probably in Norway, whether it's through a cruise tour, not a cruise tour, through a tour company, or just flying over there and doing a road trip from city to city because there's so much to see. From all the research that I've done, this is a sleeper. People sleeping on this, and they should not be. It is a wonderful destination to go to, especially if you don't
Beautiful.
mind the cold weather. I don't mind the cold weather. You were talking about the rain. Oh, that would have been cherry on top for me that it actually rained while I was there too. Yeah, I love it. I don't mind it. I didn't mind when it rained in Alaska. I think it's part of the experience in that culture, because Norway, from my understanding, in Bergen specifically, it's one of the most rained cities in the world. It ranks
Yes.
in the top 20, I want to say, but it's a lot. So even more so than London. So I'm all for it. Bergen also reminded me of or Stavanger, where it's more city element.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of
So
homes and hotels, and it's
oh,
a little
nice
bit
little
more
quaint
than,
town.
yeah, yeah,
That's
But
awesome.
yeah,
I would
I'd say
love it. So that's why I
favorite.
would want to go back because I would love to see other fjords and other towns. And let us go to some of the chats and see what's happening before we go forward. Did I miss anybody? Um, the views are amazing. Yes, they are. Hey, Linda, thank you for coming through. So agree that sometimes the pics do not do justice. So Linda's my friend. She went on the cruise with me that went to like Ireland and Wales and stuff. And
Oh, the
um,
British Isles. That's on my list.
yes,
Eyeballing a cruise
and
right now,
so
and I'm like, I don't know. Yeah.
and even though like when you do the videos of some of these places, when you see it in person, it's just like, wow. Because you could see 360. Like the video, your video is kind of like capturing what it is, but you could just kind of like look around and like, wow, look at
Yeah.
it. It's just
Mhm.
amazing. Let's see. Scotty say, was the cabin called Heaven? Sounds like it. It must be the cabin with the with the food and the waffles and the caramel cheese. Waffles and coffee, that's exactly how to kidnap me. Scott, you so easy. Lou is a foodie, so food and tour goes hand in hand. Yeah, I and my sister usually loves that too. Do you like the same thing, Yolanda? Like if you can have like excursion that includes food, that kind of
Yeah,
like gives you like all of it, the essence of everything,
yeah,
including the food.
I don't mind a food tour. I actually love doing a food tour. Excuse me. They give you an opportunity to really engulf yourself into the culture, to immerse yourself in the food that they're eating and seeing. And I mean, because everywhere you go is different. Not everything is going to be like what we have here at home. Not everybody's going to cook and it's gonna feel the same as your grandma cooking. You want to go and experience that, and experiencing the food is experiencing part of that culture.
Okay, yes. Then he says Scott loves coffee, and now I know he loves his waffles. Yes, Scott is a foodie. Hey, cruising Chris M. Happy Monday. One of my members. Email me, Chris, at bookwithpmb@gmail.com. Bookwithpmb@gmail.com. Email me, please. So who else is saying, hey Chris? We saying hi to Chris. We saying hi to each other. Hey Chris. Chris, thank you so much. Oh wow. Chris gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Chris. So who we got? Wow, that's amazing. Does it say it here? Let me see. So we got Scotty's a member now. Danny's a member. Bill is a member. Big Murph's Life and Shay received. Thank you for coming through. Happy members.
Right.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. 18 Reese, good evening. Ain't you on a cruise? Thank you for coming through. I think, or did you come off the cruise already? They want a 2-day cruise, living it up. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you, my new members as well. We saying hi to each other. We saying hi to each other. Oh, I appreciate that, Chris. I mean, I love it. Thank you so much. Now, so how to prepare, and so I agree with you. So one of my nieces, she said to me, so I'm gonna blow her up, but I know she's not gonna watch it anyway. She's not gonna watch because she's in London actually. She lives over there, so she doesn't
Ah,
different time difference and all that stuff. So she said to me when I was gonna go on a Norwegian Fjord, she's like, "Why would you want to go on that? Oh my gosh, the weather is cold and blah blah blah." And I was like, weather don't scare me. I guess when you're in New York, you're used to rain, you're used to snow, you're used to heat, you're used to. I mean, I don't want to be overheated, but if but the thing about it is, I can layer up, right? And so I could get an umbrella. I don't want to miss out on life and these experiences for optimal weather. We are missing out on so much just because we want optimal weather. I have a sister also, she's the same way. Unless it's perfect warm weather, she don't want to go. She don't want to go anywhere. It has to be a certain amount of weather. It has to be warm,
right.
like 80s. Like she don't want. So she would never do Alaska. She would never do this. The one sister that went with me, she was down. She was like, "Let's do it." She was preparing
Yeah.
herself. She lives in Florida. She was preparing herself in terms of the clothes and things of that nature. So we're going to talk about the weather now. and we're going to talk about the weather, what to wear, what to expect. So we know. Now, my thing is, if you are a person, if you've ever wanted to do Alaska, or if you have done Alaska, I think this is kind of like a similar transition for you. You love nature. You won't see the white glaciers, unless I don't know if you will see it in certain times of the year, or certain time. But the time I went was May, so I don't know if you go earlier or later, you may see something more. But like, because I saw the snow-capped mountains, but you're not gonna see glaciers. But if you love beauty and you love nature, I feel like if you want to go to do Alaska, or are thinking about Alaska, why not try the Norwegian fjords? So, having said that, in mine, it kind of rained almost every port. It was not torrential rain, right? It was like Stavanger was the most beautiful. Like when I went to Stavanger, the last port, it was beautiful weather. It was sunny. It did not rain. So, but it was like light rain. I had a light
Um,
umbrella, right? How was your weather?
I think it
Was it
rained
rainy?
every in some aspect, yes. I think it rained every day. I kept our raincoats, either it was already raining and we had them on, or I had them in my backpack. So we took the raincoats every day. I wore layers, so a long sleeve or short sleeve shirt, depending on what the temperature called for that day. I wore like joggers,
Hmm.
legging joggers, or pants or whatever, um and sneakers that were had really good grips on them. So I would say, wear really good walking sneakers. You want to be comfortable, you want some grip,
Yes.
shoes that are really going to be sturdy for you, or hiking boots. I would suggest that too. They don't have to be waterproof, but I would want them to have some kind of resistance to water, so that when you are out there and it does start raining, or when you're moving around in nature, because that's what is very, it's nature, very nature forward. So outdoors, all the things. So yes, you want to be do layers, always have a rain jacket, umbrella, and have some really comfortable shoes.
Exactly. And that's what I did. I did boots, but obviously I had like other footwear to walk around the cruise ship because I'm not walking around the cruise ship with boots. But I had boots. I
Right.
did have a poncho. So I didn't have a raincoat, but I had like a
Mm.
I didn't have like a North Face, so
Poncho
nothing
work.
really thick. I didn't have anything thick. So I mean I didn't need anything thick anyway. But I did have long
Right.
johns just in case it got a little chilly. I had like a jacket that had like a little fleece on the inside, and then
Okay.
at one of the ports, I realized my neck was exposed. So I got me a light scarf, and I had like wool hats. And so so I covered my neck, and it wasn't a big umbrella. And the one thing about Princess, I don't know about Royal, but Princess, they have huge umbrellas. In the
Yeah,
past, they've kind of like allowed you to like borrow it
I
and then bring
heard
it
that.
back when you're
I've heard
coming
and
back.
seen
So
that.
like if it was really raining bad.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
sorry?
heard that and seen that. I've heard that and seen that on other vlogs that I've watched, for Alaska, for Princess. Princess will give you umbrellas, and I think Celebrity does too. Yeah.
Yeah. So was I freezing? I was not freezing, right? I
Mhm.
wasn't even, I didn't feel like I was freezing going on these things. I wasn't drenched. Even when I went up to the mountain and it was snowing, it wasn't like it was a snowstorm. It was snowing
Right.
and it was coming down, but it wasn't like overwhelming. I was on the balcony. There were sometimes, yes, it was chilly, but there was sometimes, especially when we were not moving, that it was like, oh, okay, I could stay on the balcony with maybe a sweater and enjoy the balcony. So therefore, for people who want to see a view, especially when it's not moving, because that's how Alaska was also. Alaska
Mhm.
at certain times when I went when it was moving, chilly. But when it was
Yeah.
still, it wasn't as cold as I thought it would have been because I went to Alaska also in May. And so that's what to expect. I mean, if you're used to only if you can't deal with any kind of inconvenience with the weather, then this may be difficult for you. But if you want to stretch your boundaries a little bit and experience something that you can, it would be so amazing. And then, as I said, she went to different ports than I did. And so you may even go to different ports and it'd be a different experience. There's so many fjords. Like even when we were sailing, the one thing I liked about Princess in terms of I was talking about the experience, when we were
Yeah.
on the ship, right? So we would get back on the ship, then there would be the same person that would do the seminars would talk to us about what we were seeing, and they were
Yeah.
saying about the fjords. We're talking about the mountains. And so
Yeah.
even though you did the excursion and you're back on the ship, Princess was still engaging you in the experience of what you were seeing and saying like, oh, that's a fjord over there. That's a fjord over. And so you're passing other places, other towns, you're going through other fjords, beautiful. And so I think it's one of the things that it may not be the most popular place to that a lot of people talk about, but that's why I wanted Yolanda to speak about it, because I think it's, put it on your list. I'm not
I
saying go
I think
next year. Go ahead.
I think Alaska did a lot of that too on the royal side. We were in Alaska, they talked about the different things that you were seeing. The captain would come on or the cruise director would come on and talk about those things, but not so much in
Hmm.
Norway. So that was
Okay.
different. And I went at the end of June, whereas you
Okay.
went in May. So that
Yeah.
there's some, or yeah. So we spent the, yeah. So when I was there, when I actually got on the ship, it was in July. So we were there in
July. Okay.
July, whereas you were there in May. The temperature was a little warmer for us than it was for you.
Yeah. But you still have to wrap up.
Yeah, I had a jacket every day, or I had a long sleeve
Okay.
and a jacket, but nothing like I didn't bring any long johns or anything. The temperature stayed in the
Okay.
low 60s to high 50s to low 60s, and even maybe one day it got up to almost 70. So not so bad.
Okay. Yeah, I think mine ranged from maybe 40 to 60 by the time I left, because Stavanger was really beautiful and the sun was out and stuff like that. So it ranged probably around there, but it was doable. It wasn't like it was unbearable. And so as we talked about before, balcony or interior, I would want to do a balcony. I'm so glad I did a balcony. So the thing
I,
about it is, a
yeah,
little tip, my sister was in an interior, so everybody doesn't necessarily have to do a balcony in your party, because she came in my room and I was even calling her. I would say, "Come in my room. You gotta see this." And so she was
yes,
able to, come in there, sit down, enjoy the beauty without paying extra. So if you have more than one party, for example, maybe one do it interior. If you want to save a little money, one do a balcony, and then you and somebody could just go in your balcony and just see the beautiful views, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about the views. So I think that would be a great thing, and so you could save if you want to save a little money, and you feel like. But I feel like me doing the back, well, me getting the upgrade, I was so fortunate, and I'm so glad that I did.
yeah. Mine was, well, my
You
balcony
agree?
was. I went on a casino offer, so mine was that. But yes, it was an amazing opportunity. I highly, highly recommended. I had an interior. It was a promenade interior on my Greece cruise, but I wish I had a balcony when I went on that cruise as well. Yes, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
Don't mind an interior. If an interior is all I can afford to get on the ship, that's what I'm doing. But I highly recommend for those type of cruises, even when you're in Alaska, it's the being able to sit out there in the fresh air with my blanket and my pajamas and my house shoes and chill. And I don't have to go outside my cabin. I can just chill out, especially when you're tired and you just want to
yeah,
relax. It's just a great place to just go and sit and chill out. And in that time of year in Norway, it doesn't get dark until midnight. So there is that. So it's like you're looking at the midnight sun,
yeah,
or it's just now going down, and then it's back up at like 3 in the morning. So it's like it hasn't been down for very long. So there's any
yeah,
sun. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful, and it's a nice, relaxing way to enjoy your cruise. I am by no means saying, "Hey, go out there on a balcony. It's not going to be worth it if you don't do it." Hey, do whatever your budget will allow you to do. I recommend, if you can afford it, do the balcony.
do the balcony. All right, so we're gonna go through the comments, and so our last thing is, would you? I think we answered again. Would you do it again?
Absolutely.
I would do it again.
Absolutely.
I would do it
I've got
again.
looking
I
at
would
quite a
even
few at the moment. Yes, absolutely.
I don't have a problem doing it in May if I do it in June, but I would definitely do it again. Different fjords, different places to get a different experience. I would absolutely do it again. For those people
Oh,
who are interested, maybe want to be interested in going on Norwegian Fjords, just share this so they could see our experience, and then maybe they could ask us some questions so that we could answer it later on in the comments. So let's go through the chat, see who's here. We are home now, so welcome back. I hope you had a great experience,
I hope you had a great
Kiki
time.
and Ray. I hope you had a great time. Um, Saying thank you to Shay. So yes, we went in May and June, and it was amazing. Where did you go in May and June? Was it Alaska or Norwegian Fjords? Because I know we was going back and forth between um,
I went to
Alaska.
my Norway cruise was in
Well,
July. So
BX.
we were end of June we were in London, and then the very first week of July we were in Norway. My Alaska cruise was in August.
Okay, Alaska. I went. So Alaska was made for me, and so I went at the beginning of the season, and Norwegian Fjords May again. So BX Journey says in June it was 75 degrees and we overpacked with winter gear, and then in May it was 45 degrees. Weather was temperamental. Yes, crazy.
Mhm.
So May June 75, May 45 degrees. You're welcome. Let me see. Hey guys, we needed to rewalk our pooch. Great live, Paul. Pleasure meeting all of you. Good tonight. Oh, thank you so much. I don't know, you're probably gone already, but thank you so much for coming through. Um, so I think that's it. So if anybody doesn't have any questions, if anybody has any questions for us, we would love to answer it now or just later on. If you think of something, leave it in the comments. But as we said, I think it was a great experience. My sister
Yes.
enjoyed it. She was kept sending stuff, pictures to my nephew, and my nephew was saying, "Oh, it was like this is kind of out of your element." And she's like, "What do you mean?" Like because I
Yes.
guess he felt like she would always just want to do warm stuff, and that's the kind of sister she's kind of like down. She wants new experiences, and I feel like if you want new experiences, we can do the Caribbean. We love the Caribbean. I love the
Yes.
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
But every once in a while, as I said on this channel before, I want to be able to experience so much of the world, and why not
Absolutely.
start to do things of
Absolutely.
this nature, right? And so my
Absolutely.
next so what is your next thing coming up? So let's get the people excited. What is the next thing that you're coming up with? Either vlogs or your if you don't want to share your next cruise, what is coming up with your vlogs, and what is coming up with your next cruise or vacation?
So before I share, I do want to say that I asked my husband before we left, and when I first booked this, do you want to go to Norway? And I want to go. You and Dylan can go. And then when I got back, he was looking at the big pictures and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Would you want to go next time?" He says, "Maybe." So you
You
think
got
about that.
you
And
got
he's
him
like, "I don't
jealous.
want to."
You got him
Yeah,
jealous.
he is all about the pool and beach. So think about that. What I have coming up right now, excuse me, I just put out some Canada content. We were in
Yeah.
Halifax last month, so we were there for a 4-day cruise really quick. So I just dropped that. Coming up, videos, vlogs will be our summer. We're just putting out our summer content going in reverse. So probably either Enchantment or Carnival Celebration when we were in the ABC Islands. So one of those will be coming out this weekend, starting out with boarding day of one or the other. Um, my next trip is in October. I am getting on Utopia of the Seas, but I have some
Wow,
surprises
nice.
coming up for that time frame as well, since we'll be in Florida. Hint, hint. Everybody already know I'm a Harry Potter fan, so you can kind of imagine where I'm going with that. So I'm excited about that. My girlfriend Kayla is going with me, and we're gonna have a good time. So yeah, so we're gonna do a little bit of land and a quick 4-day on Utopia. It's my first time on her. So I'll get to compare, see if she can not wander out of her first slot for Oasis class.
Mm.
So we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited. That's my last trip for the year. I have to hunker down for projects year end, so I have to close the books out, close out. So I don't travel November. Once the end of November, December, January, head down at work, so I don't travel then. It's
I
hard to
got you.
travel then, I should say.
So I got this brilliant lady. I don't know if anybody saw it. So I'm putting out Brilliant Lady is the new ship from Virgin Voyages. And so I was able to go on that's how I met BX Journeys. I met them on that ship. It was like a media day, or they invited travel agents to come on the ship on Thursday, and they set sail for their first sailing on Friday. And so I was working on that ship. I was I was networking. I did a ship tour. I released a cabin tours
I saw the
today,
cabins. They
and
look
then
awesome. Oh,
yeah. And what else I have? And then I have another two videos just to finish off this week. And then finally, I know it's been a long time coming. It was my birthday trip, and I celebrated it in Jamaica, and so I'm gonna bring out that video. I have shorts galore of and also I did like a ship tour. I stayed in Rio Aquarel in Jamaica, which was a beautiful resort. It
oh,
was, I think, just a little bit over a year when went in June, and it came out May of last year. And so I'm gonna show that at the end of the month. And so
okay.
it's finally I'm coming out with that, and then thank you so much, Yolanda, for coming through on the
Thank
Go
you
with
so much for
YOLO.
having me.
Um, let's go through the last comments and see. We're going to Alaska in July of 2026 on Star Princess. Oh, wow. I went on Sun Princess. I like Sun Princess as well. You know, it has so much.
Uh,
Um,
when you going,
but
Chris?
oh, he going July 2026. When
Oh,
you
you said
going?
July. Okay, I didn't see that. July. Okay. I'm going a little earlier than that. So
Okay. So you're going
let
to
you
be the
know how
leading
it
to
is.
Great live, Paul. Thank you so much, Shay. And we are doing
Thanks, Chris.
Alaska in July of 2026 on Carnival Spirit. So that's Liz
Nice.
and Chris. Danny put out your YouTube page. Thank you so much,
Hey,
Danny.
Danny.
Halifax. Okay, and then let's see. Great live, Paul. Two of my favorite people here at the same time. Oh, thank you so much, Liz. I appreciate you. Oh, finally Jamaica video. Yes, finally. Uh, there was so much coming up. I'm sorry.
A
It was
lot. It's a
always
lot.
something.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it was like it. I had to Celebration Key. I had to put that out. This
When you
brilliant
do a
lady.
lot
So
of back to
finally,
back to back traveling, then you're like
yeah,
you're overloaded in
yeah. And then
content. You
about
gotta
the
get it out. So now we're home. We can get it out.
yeah. I even had to break, like I did doing the Norwegian Fjords, broke it with Celebration Key. Then I went back to it just to kind of get out like content. Your birthday
Yeah.
was in June, Paul. Yes, don't judge me, Liz. I feel judged. I feel a little judged right now. Uh, but thank you so much for coming on. That is my hour. That is my hour. I
Thank
usually try to
you.
stick it close to an hour. Again, thank you, Yolanda. Thank you, everybody, for coming on to this live. And as I always say, until next time, happy travels. Bye.